All right, today we're cracking open the case file on a major player in the energy world, Suncor Energy. Our intelligence comes straight from a Morningstar quantitative equity report, and we're going to dig through all the evidence, piece by piece, to see what the final verdict is.
So this is the big question, isn't it? Suncor is a Canadian giant, no doubt. But is it a good place to put your money today? That's what we're here to figure out. Let's open the case file and see what the clues tell us.
Okay, first things first in any investigation, you gotta know your subject. So who exactly is Suncor Energy?
Well, Suncor is what you'd call a truly integrated company. They do the whole shebang. They're pulling crude from oil sands and offshore sites, and they're refining it. Plus, you've almost certainly seen their most public face, the Petro-Canada gas stations. It's a massive, complex operation from top to bottom. And now we get to the heart of the matter, the central mystery of our case, the company's current valuation. This, my friends, is where the plot really thickens.
Here is our first major clue. This number, 1.10. Now, what is that? According to the report, it's Suncor's price-to-fair value ratio. This one little number is kind of the key that unlocks the entire analysis. But what does it actually mean?
In plain English, it means the market price is about 10% higher than what the analyst's model estimates the company's actually worth. And, whenever a stock is trading at a premium, it immediately raises a red flag for any investor looking for a good deal.
And that brings us to this very direct quote from the report. The analyst does not mince words, calling it a somewhat unattractive choice. Wow, that is a strong statement. So our job now is to figure out exactly why they reached that conclusion.
So as we dig a little deeper into the case file, we start to find what looks like, conflicting evidence. It's like a tale of two very different stories being told by two different metrics.
And here's that central conflict in black and white. On the one hand, the bad news. The growth picture looks pretty bleak. A negative 3-year revenue growth rate? That puts Suncor in the bottom tier of its global competitors. Oof. But then, on the other hand, the good news. Its profitability, measured by earnings yield, is actually quite strong, ranking in the top 40%. See what I mean? It's a total contradiction. So the crucial point is this fundamental tension. The report sees a company that just isn't expanding its sales, which is a major concern for future cash flow. And yet, it's also a company that's highly efficient at turning its existing business into cold, hard profit for shareholders. This is the core puzzle.
But there is another piece of evidence to consider, a factor that points to a kind of hidden, underlying strength within the company, and that is its economic moat.
An economic moat, if you're not familiar, is like a castle's defense. It's that special something, a structural advantage a company has that keeps competitors away and allows it to protect its profits for the long term. It's a huge sign of a high-quality business.
Suncor is rated as having a narrow moat. Now, this suggests analysts believe the company has a durable competitive advantage that can last for at least a decade. That's a significant point in its favor, and it just adds another layer of complexity to our case.
So we have all the clues: a high valuation, poor growth, strong profitability, and a durable competitive advantage. It's time to see how the analyst weighs all this conflicting evidence and closes the case.
This table lays it all out pretty clearly. The overvaluation and stagnant growth are major negatives. They point to an unattractive entry price and, some real concerns about the future. But then you have that strong profitability and the narrow moat, which are clear positives, signaling a resilient business with a solid competitive position.
And here is the final verdict. After weighing all the evidence, the model assigns Suncor a 2-star rating out of a possible 5. This tells us that, in the end, the concerns about the high valuation and the lack of growth, they just outweighed the positives of its profitability and that economic moat.
So this whole case leaves us with a final, thought-provoking question. For any investment, what do you prioritize? What matters more to you, the here and now of a profitable business or the promise of future growth? That's the puzzle Suncor presents, and the answer often defines what kind of investor you are. With that, this case is closed.